Okay, we've already talked a little bit about adding and subtracting radicals, but now that we know how to simplify them using our product rule and our quotient rule, we're going to look at that a little bit more. Remember, before we said adding and subtracting radicals is like anything else. The only thing you can do is to combine like terms. For example, you cannot add square root of 8 and square root of 2 because they're different kinds of things, just like an x and a y. But if you can make them the same, then you can add them. You can simplify square root of 8 so that it simplifies to 2 square roots of 2. So now they're both square roots of 2, you can add them together. Just like 2 pencils and 3 pencils is 5 pencils. The pencil part doesn't change. So if you have 2 square roots of 2 and one more square root of 2, you have 3 square roots of 2's. The radical part does not change, but it has to be the same before you can add them. For example, right now I cannot add these radicals because one's a square root of 18 and one's a square root of 32. So I got to simplify it whether I can add them or not. So my thought is, okay, I'm going to simplify each one. Remember how we did this. Okay, 9 times 2. And 9 is 3 times 3. Oh, okay. So I can write this. Don't forget, I've got a 6 out there. I can write this as 6. And then I'm going to group them together in pairs. And then a square root of 2. All right, let's do the 32. So let's say maybe 8 times 4. 2 times 4. 2 times 2. And 2 times 2. All right. Now, don't forget we have a 5. Okay, there's 2 2's. Here's 2 2's. And then there's 1. Right now they're all still under the radical, right? They all came from this. Okay, now this one, because I have a square here, can get rid of that. So this becomes 6 times just plain 3. I'm going to write here 6 times 3 times the square root of 2. This has a 5. It's not under a radical. This one can now be not under a radical. And this one also can now be not under a radical. But this one doesn't have a square, so it has to stay under the radical. Okay, so now these numbers are outside the radical. I can multiply them. 18 square roots of 2. This is 5 times 2 is 10 times 2 is 20. Minus 20 square roots of 2. And now that I've made the radicals the same, now I can combine them. 18 square roots of 2 minus 20 square roots of 2. 18 minus 20 is negative 2 of those square root of 2 things. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so 63 is 9 times 7. 3 times 3. So I can write that. I'm going to start over here so I'll have a lot of room. So I can write that as 4. And then there's 2 of these that goes under a radical. And 1 7. Okay, I've got a plus sign this time. Let's see how square root of 28 simplifies. It's 7 times 4. Okay, so I've got 2 of these. And 1 7. Okay, so this cancels that and leaves 4 times 3, but that just has to stay under because I don't have an exponent on it. This one does though, so it gets to cancel and just the 2 comes out. Okay, these are just 4 and 3, no radicals on them anymore, so that's 12 square roots of 7 plus 2 square roots of 7. Okay, now if they're both square root of 7, now when I got finished with this, if one of them was a square root of 5, I'd be done. I couldn't combine them. But since they're both square roots of 7, 12 plus 2 gives me 14 square roots of 7. All right. Let me know if you need anything.